Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly review Farm Manager 2021. This is a game that's coming to Steam on May 6th, 2021, about 1 or 2 days from now as of the date and time of this recording. So, what you're looking at here, for the most part, should be reflective of the finished product, but there may be a last-minute patch or two that might address some things. So, what is Farm Manager 2021? Well, I guess I should ask, have you played Farm Manager 2018? For the most part, you're getting the same experience. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some UI updates and some things that make the game a little bit cleaner, but you're going to be doing much the same thing. You're going to be managing a farm, growing crops, managing animals, and taking their products, possibly processing them, dealing with the market, and so on. So if you've played Farm Manager 2018 and you're looking for a slightly updated version, then you may want to take a look at this one. To be fair, I haven't played a whole lot of 2018 simply because it kept crashing on me all the time. Otherwise, I probably would have played it a little bit more. But anyway, getting back to the game here. 2021. Now, first of all, let me address the things that you can do and what you can't do in terms of main menu. There is a tutorial, there's a campaign, there's a scenario, and there's free play. Now, I gotta complain about the tutorial a little bit. Yes, it was nice, but it didn't tell me everything that I needed to know. For example, when I started playing on my own, I was ready to put my first field down, and I did that, and I'm like, okay, so how many seeds do I need to purchase from the market so that it covers the entire field? And I just took a wild guess. All right, I'll just buy 300 and then hope for the best. So I did that. And I'm like, how many did I really need? And in the back of my head, I'm going, did I spend a whole bunch of money that I didn't need to? Here, I did some trial and error. I put down a separate field that was just growing tomatoes, and I didn't buy any seeds for it. And here, the seeds were bought and planted for me when it came time to do that. So I'm like, oh, so I didn't have to buy seeds in the first place. So that knowledge would have been nice. Another thing that I had an issue with was the seasonal workers. I put a seasonal workers' house down so that they would attract seasonal workers, in which it's nice. You can adjust sliders, how much they get paid, the months that they operate in. That's all good. And then I put my field in. I'm like, okay, there's my field. There's my seasonal workers. Okay, have at it. And nothing was happening. So I'm like, okay. So I click on the field. I'm like, that's right. In the tutorial, I had to click on this allow manual labor button or something to be checked. So I did that. And still, there was a little icon above the field saying not enough staff. I'm like, well, there's 12 seasonal workers sleeping in their building. How do I assign them to that field? So I was like, okay, let's just try hiring staff to see if that does it. I have staff already, but let's just hire another one and see what happens. So I hired a permanent staff, not the seasonal workers, but the permanent. And here, that was what I needed. Apparently, the permanent workers will plow the fields and do certain things, and the seasonal workers will pick up the rest. So I was like, oh, so that's something I would have liked to have known. Like, I wish the field error would have said, or the message would have said, instead of saying not enough staff or need more staff, say something a little bit more specific, like need permanent worker assigned to this field, or need permanent worker available. And, so I didn't know what worker it needed. I'm like, well, there's 12 seasonal workers doing nothing. Why aren't they doing something? So there's some learning curve hurdles to get over here with this game, just because not everything is explained to you as well as it could be. Now, that being said, there's quite a bit to do in this game. You can start off by putting down a couple of animal sheds, and maybe you want some chickens in a chicken coop, or maybe you want some cows, or maybe you want some goats. And what's cool is that you can click on these individual buildings and you can set what employee works there, and employees have their own stats like animals or machines or whatever, and you can even improve them in the employee menu. But you can assign what food is consumed by that particular animal. Typically, there's 5 types of food that they would prefer. And then you click on the ones that you want to feed them. And the more types you feed them, the higher the quality, the food quality, meaning that they'll produce more and be happy. So that's what you're aiming for. So you go to the market, you buy food for them, and, after a time it's delivered to your farm. your employees give it to your animals, and they're good to go. Now, one thing I didn't see was a way to automatically buy things, and to be fair, maybe I missed it, but I would have liked a system to where, okay, I'm below 100 grain, or I'm below 100 oat, or 100 grass. I'd like to automatically buy more from the market. If I go to the market menu, I see a ton of things here. I see eggs, fertilizer, beets, red peppers. There's onions, apple juice, different animals, organic. There's organic versions to everything in this game. So there's cheese, organic cheese, tomatoes, organic tomatoes, apple sapling, organic apple sapling. Just everything has an organic component to it. But there's a lot of things, but I did not see a way to automatically buy things, as you know, that because the more animals I had, I'm like, man, now I'm out of grass, I gotta go buy. Oh, now I'm out of oats, I gotta buy. Oh, I'm out of this, I gotta buy. I wish there was a way to just automate that, so I wouldn't have to worry about that. To be fair, there may be a way to do it, and I just simply don't know how to do it yet. Again, there's a learning curve, and the tutorial only takes you so far. There is a way to do research in this game. In the in the manager tab, in the manager button, there's like a ton of tabs. There's like economy manager, staff manager, to where you can see what each person is doing. You can see your field manager, what equipment might be missing from these fields that you have to buy. You have to buy these parking spaces for equipment. You can see your animal manager, production manager, warehouse manager. You can see all the different things in the game and what you have of each one. That's cool. And speaking of which, there's a little plus button on the top toolbar on the main screen, and you can add things to it, so you can track specific things rather than have to go to the warehouse every time, which is nice. But getting back to the whole training thing, you can research, like, in the training manager, workshop on production management 1. Increase production by 10%. Or increase the rate of production by 10%. Or use of renewable energy sources. It gets you access to the wind farm building. Or reduces the price of machines on the stock market by 10%. There's another one that increases the quality and quantity of the harvest by 10%. So there's a lot of different ways to spend your money for research or training. You can even click on individual employees, and there's a little button below their salary requirements. You can click on that, and that will increase their stats in that particular area. So animals, if Olivia, for example, has 3 out of 5 on animals, you can give her some money or train her, and then she'll go up to 4. So that's cool. I like that. There are some things you just have to roll with in terms of punches. Like, I put this beekeeper building down. I assigned an employee to it with a beekeeper skill of 2, and it's not producing anything. I'm like, well, what do I need for this? Here, I neglected to hit the buy button on the beekeeper building to put down individual hives. So it's sort of like Anno that way, you know, where you put down the main building, then you put down the subsequent buildings that are connected to it. I didn't know that. So the building was running all this time. There was no error message. And there was like, hey, dummy, you forgot to put down... There was nothing like that. It was just an employee was working there, not doing anything. And I'm like, well, how come no honey is being produced? And I'm looking around, oh, I don't have hives. So again, there are some quality of life things that I think that could be added to this game to make it an even better experience. And part of it, though, is going to be learning curve. You're going to have to accept the fact that it's going to take time for you to learn this game because the tutorial doesn't cover everything that you need to know. And it's going to be a lot in the beginning. Everything's thrown at you at once. You want to put a field down? Okay. You need like 8 of this machine, or like eight different machines for this field. You need some employees to manage it. There's just a lot. Oh, you need a parking space for these things, for these machines. Oh, your animals are complaining about something. Oh, you need a vet building. Oh, I need a silo for this. Oh, I need a manure storage for this cow shed over here. It throws everything at you all at once. So my advice is focus on one building at a time, and then buy what you need if you don't have it. And then when you're comfortable, start growing crops and producing. Crops, I think, is the hardest thing to do in this game, just because, again, you need a lot of equipment. You need seasonal employees for that. I love the production chaining in this. So if you want to keep it simple, you can. You just want to sell cow's milk, fine. But you can take it a step further, build a manufacturing plant, assign the production on that to milk turns into cheese, and then bam, you're selling cheese for a higher price. So I love the production chaining aspect of this. And I love that the market is ever flowing. So goat's milk might be down in price this month. Like there's a stock market kind of thing. There's a trend, a price trend for each product in this game. So you can focus on something or hold on to it for a while, then sell it when the price is better. That is great. I love that. So there's a lot of things that this game does that I like, and then there's a couple of things that really frustrate me. And I think over time, those frustrations will go away. But I just want to warn you, there are a couple of things about this. Free play mode is another thing that bothers me, just real quick. There's no way to set difficulty or starting amount of money that you have or anything like that, or map. It's just, you click free play and it throws you into a map with a set amount of money. That's it. Campaign, there's no difficulty settings there. So I wish in free play there was a bit more customization options available. So yeah, I mean, if this game is $20 when it releases, I don't know what the price is. But if it's $20 like its predecessor, then I would say take a look at it at the very least. It's enjoyable. It's not without problems, but it's enjoyable. And had there been other games like it out on the market, I'd be a little bit more hard-pressed to recommend it. But as it stands, like, there's not a whole lot of farming games out there that are like this. Yeah, there's Farm Together, but that's more Facebook-y. There's a lot of other casual farming sims, but some of them are like Stardew Valley and, some other Stardew Valley-like games where it's more, I get to talk to people too and manage relationships. I don't want to do that. I just want to manage a business. And that's what this game does. So, does it do it perfectly? No, not at all. But it's enjoyable at the moment. Just be prepared for a learning curve that may frustrate you. If you guys haven't already, subscribed to me on Twitch and YouTube. That way you can stay up to date with any new content I'm going to publish. This is Vince. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.